Lobsta Productions.
In the shadows of the ancient ones, they never went away. They're still here today.
Nephilim Death Squad. When the last trumpet sounds and the heavens crack, blah, 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 blah. Nephilim Death Squad. Nephilim Death Squad. Death Squad. Death Squad. Death Squad.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nephilim Death Squad. I am David Lee Corbo, a.k.a. The Raven. That is Top Lobsta,
What's up?
the father of disinformation. Before we get into today's guest, a little reminder, if you guys want to support the show, a great place to do it is patreon.com/Nephilim Death Squad. Sign up there and gain access to episodes before the general public does. Ad-free listening experience, access to private communities of dangerous retards on Twitter, on Discord, and on Telegram. And you also get discount codes off of merchandise from toplobsta.com, where not only are you going to find all of our merch that's designed by Top Lobsta, but you're also going to find tickets to Brohemian Grove. Do we have the...
Oh, we got that. Hold
do
on.
we?
Where's it at? Bam. No?
It doesn't fucking work.
Not today.
Nancy!
We got it.
Nancy didn't have the buttons ready. Tickets to Brohemian Grove are available. The general admission day on August 8th in Wildwood, Florida is up and ready. VIP tickets are no longer available. They sold out really quickly. Thank you guys for that. But if you want that one-day ticket with all the different podcasters and the performances, it's available. toplobsta.com. And any questions that you have are actually right there in the drop-downs. If you click on those little plus signs, you actually don't have to bother us because
They're going to do it anyway.
They're
We
gonna
have
do
an interesting guest today. I reached out to Anthony a while back.
Yeah, this has been
sir.
phone tag in so many ways.
Yeah.
But we're happy to be getting it done. Anthony Graffeo, before we get into this conversation, let's remind everybody a little bit about where they can find your work and what it is you do.
So on Instagram, it's Anthony_Graffeo777. On X, it's Graffinati19. So I've been in the conspiracy world for about 25, 30 years now. I woke up in 2001. I read Behold the Pale Horse. I'm from New Jersey, so I lived like 20 minutes outside of New York City. So when
What
9/11
happened in 2001 that woke you up? I don't
Ah,
understand why.
man.
What a specific
what,
year.
what could have happened, right? Like there's these people in Hoboken, they were dancing, and I was like, what's going on over here? You know?
Why's
In
everybody
front of the
celebrating?
band, like, what's going on? Yeah. So that started sending me down rabbit holes at a really young age. Just been searching for the truth for a long time. Been deplatformed off of Instagram, off of X. I think I've racked up 22 accounts deleted on Instagram.
Damn.
Yeah. They don't like the truth, bro. They don't like
What's
the truth.
your, off the top of your head, what's your favorite thing you've been banned for?
Oh, it's got to be the. No, just kidding.
Kind of every single time it's the, believe it or not. Where in New Jersey are you from? I'm from New Jersey as well.
Oh, for real? Oh, West Caldwell. Where you
Okay,
at?
I'm from kind of the Woodbridge, Elizabeth area, kind of central Jersey.
Okay, I'm
I
more
was
north.
close enough. Yeah, I was a kid in Carteret. Where we could see the smoke from the towers, you know, on the bus ride home. Didn't
Sure.
do enough to radicalize me though. I was too little. I just said, "Would you look at that? That's fascinating." I went home that day, and everybody was outside, standing on their lawns, lighting candles. And I said, "Fuck's a big deal." I didn't really get it at that age. I was
How
only
old were you?
11. I was 11.
I was 12.
Oh, okay. So you were just smarter than me because I didn't fucking know what was going on at the time. I didn't start researching anything till a couple of years later, and it's hard to even say. There was no real catalyst, not like a big moment. You know, 9/11 did that was our, wasn't it?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, you know, it was like one of like the real beacons for me was Immortal Technique, the rapper.
Oh yeah.
You know, like listen to his music, just like a young middle schooler, 8th grade, like listening to it. And I was like, oh shit, there's more to this, huh? Isn't there? And just like the Illuminati, just like all the Jay-Z and all like the old YouTube before it was YouTube, you know, and you were able to like look up these things. And you're just completely black pill, just looking up like Bohemian Grove and all this stuff. Like, so I've been doing this like a really long time, you know?
I really enjoyed Immortal Technique growing up. You know, he was actually one of my favorite artists, and it took some time for me to realize that he's kind of like he's almost like an extreme leftist in some ways. I had it out with him. Yeah, I had it out with him on Twitter, not in a big way, but we were going back and forth on something, and I was like, oh yeah, this guy doesn't have any, which is surprising because I grew up on that music. You would have thought that I would have embraced those values, but he's very much like a pagan as well. Like he looks at Christianity as if it's just a control mechanism. But all those guys, you know, Vinnie Paz, Jedi Minds, we used to have Vinnie Paz as our intro music, but we started getting hit with copyright things. But yeah, man, it's almost a bummer because that music did radicalize me in a big way. You know, if you had a conspiratorial lean, it was one of the few sources of conspiracy leaning music that you could listen to. And then once you start getting older, you're like, oh, this guy's got a bunch of really fucking bad ideas. Really interesting shit.
Or like bad economic ideas, you know?
Well, also bad social ideas, you know, this idea that you know, really what it's all about, instead of Mother Mary or Christianity or any of these things, it's about fertility goddesses. That's where the true beauty is. And you know, he's always going to err on the side of sort of pagan tribal people. And it's almost like the whole point of like what Christ came and did and what those pagan idols are went right over his head, which is actually kind of remarkable for such a smart dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think Immortal Technique, is he Muslim or no?
Vinnie Paz is Muslim, which is...
I know Vinnie Paz is Muslim, is Immortal Technique, though? I'm not sure.
I have no idea. I don't think he's Muslim because he does a lot of celebrating pagan idols. And, you know,
that's
even
what I'm saying.
within, you know, sort of... Muslims don't get down with that shit. So, I mean, they don't realize whatever's going on their end of things might be akin to that. But it's another thing to make, you know, this leap to the spirits that the natives were worshiping were actually like worshiping nature spirits is the good thing. Everything else is a control mechanism by the white patriarchy. I mean, he very much sounds like a fat lesbian woman, you know? But he hits so hard, bro. Like, he hits so hard that you're like, I've never heard... Honestly, that was the whole flop of the left. It was like, if you just had some real motherfuckers on the left that were saying this in a gritty way, I might have been more receptive to it. But instead, you had fat blue-haired lesbians saying it, and I was like, clearly, this is wrong on its face.
Yeah, like at that age, I was more like, you know, I was more anarchist, you know, and I thought that like that's what he stood for. But as I grew up and I, you know, listened to his music more, and I realized, yeah, this guy's kind of a socialist, you know, like he's kind of standing with these socialist values and whatnot. Yeah. And but you know, he did a lot of great work, so I can't take that away from him, you know, and he's still doing a lot of great work. Like he's a very him and Vinnie Paz are strong activists for what's going on right now, you know, like with Gaza and everything. So, you know, shout out to them. Like they're still fighting the good fight.
Yeah, this guy, Immortal Technique, I mean, not only does he stick the finger up at the music industry and he does everything in an independent way, he releases his own albums, and despite not having the backing of a major record label, he's still incredibly popular. But he is going out and he's like building orphanages and shit, you know, overseas in these war-torn areas. So like, yeah, theologically speaking, I think he's all fucked up. I'm not going to not stand my ground when it comes to Christ. However, his ability to be about everything he's talking about is remarkable. You don't get that a lot. And he's
for sure.
Aggressive dude, really driven to make it as far as he has and to be as successful as he is without all the Jewish backed record labels and shit is, I mean, that's crazy. Real. They didn't like him because of that.
It's a testament of today's the landscape of today, right? Where we can look at the people at our side, and like, cause I'll say the same thing. I'm like, hey, what's going on in Gaza seems like a genocide, and they go, you must be a far leftist Muslim, and I'm like, no, I couldn't care less. I just prefer that they don't, you know, Israel doesn't pervert America, and they're like, oh, well, yeah, you're clearly a Democrat. I'm like, no, you have me so completely twisted. Like, I'll throw you off of a roof. Like, that's where my ideology stands. But,
On God, though, same.
it's just fun. Like, it's interesting bedmates that we have for the time being. As we were talking about that a little bit on the previous episode we did with Anapolina Luna. And I don't want to move this over to like complete crazyville, but like she's talking about the Nephilim. The name of the show is the Nephilim Death Squad. But I'm like, you're also a stripper who's a congresswoman who I don't trust at all.
Yeah.
But
Who changed her last name, by the way.
Yeah.
Who changed your last name? Yeah, we know who we see.
Who's
you know
Jewish,
who you are,
by
bitch.
the way.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yes,
we've
the
seen that
rhinoplasty can't
foreskin.
hide it. We know it. We see it. But no, I agree, bro. I mean, like, the thing for me, and like, it's so gay to even say it, but like in 2016, like I fell for the Trump shit. I fell for it. Like, I really believed in it. And like, even gayer to say I fell for QAnon. Like I was I was deep into Q. I was like, oh, we're getting saved, guys. I'm like this super amazing computer guy that's getting information from JFK Jr. Like, and then you just realize it was like the Mossad the whole time. Like, just fucking you know?
The Jews again. They're dancing again.
Nah, but
Like
it's okay,
straight
though.
up.
That's okay. I wouldn't even apologize for that because, like, I wasn't on like the Trump train in 2016, but I was living in Brooklyn. I was living in New York, so like I understand that. Like I was watching from the belly of the beast, and I was going, hell yeah! Like you see that guy, he's doing some shit, and it's like that's pretty cool. Like he's telling these people, fuck you, and it's like that's what I felt like.
Yeah.
But you know, we were naive. It was an op that's being played out over the next decade or so.
For sure.
I think as long as you're paying attention to which way things are moving and you're constantly able to shift, then that's fine.
I want to ask Anthony that. I mean, I was into the Q thing as well.
It's fun.
Because
It's
there was
fun.
so much reality to it, right? I mean, we always say on this show, in order to sell a lie, you've got to, surround it by a lot of truths. So we'll go like 9 truths and then 1 lie.
Maybe
That
even
10th one is-
99.
Yeah, 99 truths and 1 lie. And that lie corrupts everything. And you need those truths to be able to sell it to people who are discerning. When did you get off that Q train?
Dude, I gave my life 9 years to that shit. 9 years.
Whoa.
Yeah, because I was like one of the big guys. I was like one of the decoders, I was like doing all the timestamps with Dan Scavino and this fucking frog in this picture and this, and like, and it's literally just a repackaged Operation Trust of the Bolshevik Revolution, right?
Yes.
Like, don't worry, the secret police, they're coming to save you guys. Like, same thing, the storm, it's all the same bullshit. And like, it wasn't until this last, when Trump got in this time, where it just all just really just shook me awake. And I was just like, oh shit, like I'm being played like a fucking idiot. And really, if you want me to get into it, what did it for me with the Trump thing was when he made that video of Trump Gaza. Remember the AI video he made?
Oh yeah. That's
Where
right.
it's like-
was that the one that had like there was like a big gold statue in it or something like that? Yeah.
Yes. And Christ like shook me right there. He's like, you see what this is? You see what this is? This is a false idol. This is a gold.
Yeah.
This is a golden idol now.
It's a golden calf.
Exactly. You got him and BB laying on the beach drinking pina coladas. Elon Musk is like dancing with a woman with a beard. Like it's like
That's right.
some freaky shit, dude. So I was like, all right, like the storm ain't happening. We're not saving Israel for last. This guy's a like he's just like forget kissing the wall. He went to the rabbi's grave.
Yeah.
Remember, right before he got shot or whatever, if you think that was a real thing, I don't personally.
No.
Well,
I don't. I
don't
think
know
that
if
whole thing was.
You might not have been following us, but we got in a lot of fucking trouble with that.
Oh, for real?
That
It was like the same week that it
Yeah,
happened.
it
We ended up on
happened.
Tinfoil Hat.
Well, yeah, we were like, yo, Sam, like, we got to talk about this. And he was like, hey, he put us on a different show. He was like, that's fucking dangerous. People don't want, they're going to be mad if you say that. And we're like, well,
Fuck it.
yeah, fuck it. And like, let's look at the tape though. And we broke it down. And afterward, he was like, "Yo, I think there's something to that," and we're like, "Yeah, dude, that's bullshit."
And now it's kind of like safe to say we were going through I think the episode was called Vindication.
Yeah.
And we were going through some of the newer angles of the Trump, assassination footage, and you could see like it's such a photo op. They're like lowering the
agent.
flag into
Yeah,
the view
bro.
and shit. Like
some dude runs out photographers to take the picture right before the shots happen. It happens as the shots are taken. You see the crane lower down the flag and I mean, it's beautiful.
it's a banger of a shot, dude. Like whoever got that shot, right? He's got the fist up in the air. There's blood on him. It's fight, fight, fight. The flag's in the background. Like when that photo first hit the internet, I was like, they got it, dude.
Oh,
like
listen,
they nailed it.
But here's the thing, though. Like, we're watching it and we're going, yeah, bullshit, dog. But I still made a T-shirt because I'm like, I'm
Still
fucking
sold that T-shirt, motherfucker.
yeah. Fight,
Making
fight,
some
fight.
bread.
Fight, boomer. Fight, boomer.
Go, boomer, go fight.
Exactly.
I'm gonna do
That's
this
all he has
podcast about
left.
that.
That's all he
Yeah.
has left is these boomers, bro. That's really what it comes down to. But like with the whole entire thing with that fake assassination attempt and all that, it riled everybody up to go to be for Trump,
Yep.
and like so many people fell for it now because there were so many people that were like opposition to Trump, RFK Jr., Tulsi Gabbard, all these people. Then you bring them in and you like create this like Avengers, right? Like this coalition, like we're taking out the seed oils, guys. We're going to stop all wars. We're going to do this. And it's like, no, we got Jude. We got completely rug pulled. Rabbi Shmuley has pictures with all of them. Like it's Trump is at you guys know about the rabbi, right?
The rabbi whose grave that he went to. Wasn't he also like classically trained by like a Jesuit or some shit like that? Like there's so many layers to what's wrong
we can
with-
get into all that too. We can get all into that
Yeah,
too.
well, before the QAnon thing even came along, which, like I said, I did fall for QAnon for a while because it's so compelling. But in like 2006, 2007, there were a couple of things that were exactly like it. And I talk about this on the show all the time. The most obvious one is Anonymous, the hackers group, because they had a very similar slogan. It was like, expect us. They also, interestingly enough, said "We are Legion" in their slogan, which is, fascinating admission there.
Demonic.
But "expect us" was the theme, right? You are being oppressed by the 1%ers, and we are going to hack and equalize the playing field and reveal all this shit. Never comes to pass. Never comes to pass, right? They dangle that carrot in front of you for so long. Another one very similar to that is the Galactic Federation of Light, which
I got felt for that too. I felt for that too.
Yeah, me too, bro.
The Palladians are coming.
I'm a fucking faggot as well. So
the Palladians are coming, guys. The Arcturians, they're
But
pulling
that's
up.
it. They're gonna save us. There's a satanic cabal in power, and they're gonna. Don't worry, we're on our way.
That part's true.
That is true. And then the one that was just like it, but it was before all this shit was Tupac. And this is one that like people kind of sleep on, but you have this like Killuminati Machiavellian idea that he fakes his own death and he's either going to change his identity and come back, and a lot of it was for the sake of hip hop, which the idea that I even thought that was a real thing is kind of retarded. Like I'm like, oh, Pac's gonna come back and save hip hop. I don't even fucking understand that. But it was this idea that like he's behind the scenes and he's working on these things and he's faked his death so that he can come back and do something greater. And if you look at Pac and you look at the early days where he's like a theater kid and he's a dancer and he's very effeminate and soft, then it puts everything into perspective. You're like, oh, this is a gay black dude. This was never the fucking thug. Unbelievable. Loved Hit 'Em Up. It was incredible that such a gay dude can make such an aggressive piece of artwork about killing dudes. But it still had embedded in it this idea. It's like the Illuminati, Machiavellian principles of, because Prince Machiavelli wrote this war book, and within it was this chapter about potentially faking your death so that your enemies could either each other or just die off, and then you could come back when the dust is cleared. And so all of this stuff, he called himself he called himself Machiavelli. I think he had even an album called that or some shit. So there's all this idea that this could take place, but that is like the MO, bro. We keep getting that. This thing, Operation Trust in the Bolshevik Revolution, right? Yeah, it is.
How does it turn out? Turns out fucking Kool-Aid and pineapples.
And fucking dances every single time the dance. So, you know, it's disheartening in that way, because I think we are hardwired to believe that because Christ is going to return, right? So there's
Amen.
something within us that knows that. And all they can do is invert and pervert these principles that God has made, these laws that God has made, the building blocks of reality that God has made. They don't create anything on their own. They take those concepts and they invert them and they twist them around and they use them for their own will. And so I think that's why this shit resonates with us, and that's why we keep falling for it.
For sure. I mean, like, because really what it comes down to is like human beings are inherently good. You know, we just want to see good things happen. We just want to chill, man. Like, we just want to have a good life. Like, we don't want to be oppressed. We don't want these people controlling us. And when we hear that there's going to be some hero, we all get like super stoked on that and we fall for it. And like, this is like Albert Pike. When they need a hero, we'll give them one, right? They gave us one over and over and over again. They continue to give us one, right? And it's like, we have to be the hero, right? Like that's the journey that we're supposed to be on, is like what Christ did for us is he freed us. He gave us salvation for us to love each other and to fight against this enemy. And we were warned on who they were going to be and that they would come and deceive us, you know, and all these people that are living under this, I call it like a turning point MAGA Christianity. It's not even like real Christianity. It's like they're making this fake sect of Christianity up, you know, where it's like, oh, I got to give all my tithes to Israel. I got to make sure all my money goes there, because if I don't bless Israel, oh man, I'm going to be cursed. They're going to curse me. It's like, what, bro? You think God, the creator of heaven and earth, is going to curse you because you're not self-serving to a country that's the size of New Jersey that's doing a genocide? Come on now. No. Maybe you should reread your Bible. Maybe go past the Old Testament, which is the prophecy of Christ to come, and open up the New Testament, which is Christ came and he created a new covenant. And that new covenant is we are Israel. The seed of Abraham is Israel. And that's all of us. Every single person in this earth is the seed of Abraham, because we all come from the same creator, right? And that's what Christ came to tell us, is that the law of Moses failed. It didn't work. You guys failed in every stop. Anybody that could read the Old Testament and not say, damn, these fucked up. Like, like the whole entire book, like they're just continually getting punished over and over and over again. And they're still doing it to this day. Like, if you look at, and it's not an anti-Semitic thing to say, but if you understand Judaism at its full potential, it's Kabbalah, it's Gnosticism. They believe that God is the bad guy and that Satan is the good guy, and he's the rebel, and he's the one that is supposed to actually free us from this prison that God has put us on. And that's just not the truth. And that's what all these, like, whether it's like Freemasonry or Kabbalah, Judaism, anything that's not aligned with Christ, is you're a self-serving person and you're working for Satan. That's what it comes down to. And that's what these people are doing.
They have built within them this basically works to salvation kind of a deal. And even if it's not works to salvation, it's works to enlightenment, it's works to ascension of some sort, or it's genetics based, right? Which is like, no, all that's done. We're grafted onto the vine. Right. Bingo. Like, this isn't a genetics thing. There's no works that are going to gain you salvation. Adherence to the law. If you end up adhering to the law because of your love of God, and you're saved through Jesus Christ and your belief in Jesus Christ, that's a different story. But it's not your works or your adherence to the law that's going to get you that salvation. It's actually kind of remarkable, because it's like, this used to be really messy. This used to be really difficult. It used to be really convoluted. And then God was like, these fucking people are retarded. Yeah. I got to make this easy. I got to make this easy. And it is. It's, you said it's not anti-Semitic to say those things. It's like, if it is anti-Semitic, then God is anti-Semitic, because over and over again throughout the Bible, God is very frustrated with Israel, with the because you're right, consistently throughout the Old Testament, they're just fucking up over and over and over again. It's really almost a story of the fucking up. And which is just to say, like, man, also, I'm not saying some other people group would do better. It was like, we're humans, we're flawed, we're going to fuck up. The are a shining example of that over and over again. You know, Moses goes up on the mountain and he gets the 10 commandments, and by the time he comes down, they're already worshiping this golden calf, despite being exposed to all these unbelievable miracles, the sea parting, and they're, taken out of Egypt, and all the plagues that took place, and all the crazy shit. And they go, well, what about this golden calf? I guess they're looking for expedience, something that can give them what they need now because they're suffering in the desert. But
well, not just that. It's because I think about this a lot, admittedly. But it's like it's almost fascinating because it's a human condition, right? Where you're putting up God's character, because that when I read the Bible, I read it for the stories, but I really read it to find out. I'm like, well, who is this? Who is this guy? Like, what is he? How is he like me? How is he different? What is his personality? What makes him tick? Or God, the Elohim, the entity that is God. What makes this guy go? And what makes him go is the truth. His word is true. So he's given a promise to these people, and it's kind of like, it's really crazy to think about. Which is why I kind of push back against the replacement theology thing, because he gave that promise. Whoever they are, whoever these clearly wicked people are that are the same from the Bible, because the behavior is one-to-one, and they're like, okay, we know who you are, we got your promise, and then you have to ask yourself, how would humans behave with the promise of God that says, I am going to watch out for you. You're my people. Mm-hmm. That's my word. That doesn't change.
Yeah.
And then you look at their behavior, and throughout the Bible, throughout history, 109 countries till today, and you see what they're doing. I'm like, man, it's not a surprise, but it's like, that could be me. If I'm given a promise from David where he's like, yeah, I'm not going to renege on this, 100%. You get $1,000 no matter what you do. I could take that money and do whatever I want if that's mine in my pocket. Right? He's already made that promise. I know that's his personality. It's like, man, what a fucking scoundrel way to be. But people are like that.
Well, if God allowed Satan to tempt Job and to have all these horrifying things happen to Job, because the idea was like, yeah, but I bet you if he wasn't crushing, he would curse you.
Same thing.
And God's like, okay, you think that Satan wouldn't spend, and I'm not saying definitively like these are the Bible, although they behave very much the same way.
I know, they look a lot like that, dude.
Do you think that Satan wouldn't spend all of these thousands of years whispering in their ears, and that God wouldn't allow it to happen? I mean, God allowed it to happen to Job. We have free will, so at the end of the day, we could always choose God over the desires of the flesh or Satan's ability to give us all the kingdoms of the world or any of these things. But of course, Satan would spend all of that time whispering in their ears, sell these dildos, issue predatory loans, make money off of pornography. Like, of course, poison the food. Hey, that well is looking a little too clean.
Hey, you're the special boy.
You should probably do something about that well. So
for sure.
I don't really have too much of a problem with it, but I do go back and forth on that place, Israel. That little place. What is that place? Is that really it?
Israel?
Israel?
Is it
Israel?
real?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, man. It's such a crazy subject to talk about, and I've been talking about it for a fucking decade at least.
Yeah.
And I still feel like the more I know, the less I'm like, I still don't know.
The less I understand. I'm going to go out and straight up say it too. The more I know, the less I understand. Like, okay, so we have Ashkenazi and we have Khazarians and we have like all kinds of people that are claiming to be but are not, and then we have the synagogue of Satan and all this shit, and it's like super messy, and it's a religion, but it's also a genetic lineage, and like, fuck, what? And the more I learn, the more I'm like, I don't know shit.
They don't know shit. That's really what it comes down to more than anything, is they don't know shit. They're the most lost. They're the most psyoped group in the world, because
hell yeah,
there's people that are living in America that think that they need to like put their entire life into Israel. And it's like, if you care so much about Israel, why don't you fucking move there? Why are you here doing parades in New York City and trying to impede on the American people that don't want this? We don't want any connection to any foreign entity. Never mind just Israel, but I'm an Italian. I don't give a fuck what Italy does. I don't want my money going to Italy. I don't want, if Italy was in a war, I wouldn't want my family to be sent over there to go fight for them. I am a nationalist. I believe in my country, and I think my country should thrive. So why do we have this connection to anybody? And the thing is, the loophole that they have found, because that's what they do. They find loopholes. They find, if you know anything about them, they're constantly always trying to trick somebody, even God. Like, you know, the Eruv is where they have a fucking fishing line around Brooklyn because they say it's a tent. Yeah. Yep. They're always trying to trick God. So they're trying to trick the American people into believing that, oh, if you don't pray for us, or if you don't fight for us, if you don't do this, if you don't do that, then you're going against God. And that's just not true. It's just not true. And the only people's minds that they have captivated still with this ideology are boomers. Like people like regular blue collar, white collar families, they're fucking done with this shit, dude. Like, we've never been at, because, like, you know, back to how long we've been doing this, 25, 30 fucking years, we've never had this kind of momentum in the truther sphere than ever before. Like, so many people are awake to what's going on. And, you know, it's not even like talking about like the Illuminati or anything like that. Like, you lead up to this point, right? You figure out that, oh, yeah, the New World Order is actually the New World Order. Right. Mm-hmm. And then like everybody is starting to see this now. Like my mom's like, what the fuck are these doing? Like, you know, my mom's not anti-Semitic. She's just tired of it. She's tired of seeing that our president is sucking the prime minister of Israel's cock every day on TV. She's tired of seeing her money being depleted because we're going to war for a fucking nation state the size of New Jersey. Like, everybody's just tired of this shit. And this is why Trump lost all his aura. This is why Trump lost all his steam. This is why he's going to get cracked in the midterms. This is why all this is happening. And the only people that are still stuck on this are the retarded boomers, the people that still believe in 5D chess, and the paid MAGA shills. And that's it. Everybody else is against it.
Let me ask you this, because this is something that, like, I feel like you don't know me at all, really. Or my past. So it's like, how do I give like a brief breakdown?
I think I know where you're going though.
Because it's not that my mind's changed, but I'm looking at the next op. Because I was there. I'm like right with you. I understand what you're saying. And I was one of the loudest people, to the point, I mean, a story we tell all the time of like, I'm making anti-Semitic jokes that are getting retweeted by Elon Musk and getting put in the fucking newspaper, you know, the Daily Gazette from Israel, where they're calling me a blood libelist. But I had to step back and be like, all right, you know, the joke was funny, but what happened here? Mm. And what happened here was an idea that time had come, because I've had multiple accounts banned. I've been doxxed for saying Jewish owners of the NBA or the NFL going back a decade ago. And now I'm getting paid for it. When I made this joke online, you know, millions of views, I'm getting paid by Elon Musk. And retweeted by him. Yeah. And responded to by him. And I'm looking around me going, hold on a second. What the fuck? Because I'm a conspiracy theorist.
Prophecy.
That's right, what they want. Right. Yeah, they're fulfilling it. And now I'm an idiot. I'm a useful idiot in your plan. Because I'm helping you fulfill it. And the prophecy is that the world's going to turn on Israel.
Right.
Yep.
But the world can't turn on Israel if they don't notice their crimes. It's just, you know, we just happen to be noticing their crimes a long time ago because they were fucking obvious and we didn't have our head in the sand. So I'm like, we're always pointing at it, but the time is not right, you know?
And that's the thing I feel like happened is once Elon Musk, you know, got Twitter, it wasn't all at once, but it was very clear that one of the things that was a big theme, I mean, we had the Epstein conversation, which is the Jewish conversation on X, you know, over most other places. Really over all other places, right? I mean, you're not having this conversation on Instagram really to any meaningful, because Instagram isn't conducive to conversation really. It's that you post and then people talk in the comments, but it's not like it's not like Twitter. Facebook is the same thing. You're not really having this. So it's like X is the place. It's ground zero for this information. And I remember 2 years ago, my wife was saying all these things about like, you know, you're saying a lot of crazy shit on X, and I'm going, I can kind of tell that everything right now is downstream from X. The conversation that's happening here will eventually happen at the dinner table. So where it seems unsafe right now, I was getting doxxed for this or that. it seems unsafe. Give it time. It's going to bleed out. And sure enough, it did bleed out to, like you're saying,
Yeah.
your mom's watching Trump,
Yeah,
suck,
I
and then
walk
you've been-
into my mom's house and she's got this shit on the news, and I'm like, oh, like we were talking about that 6 months ago, but now they're dealing with it, and that's a dangerous thing because like, not to say like our parents are dumb, but like the vast majority of people when they get this information, it's like, what are you gonna do with that? I just handed you a grenade.
yeah.
What do you do
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that
For
grenade?
For sure. And I think like more than anything, it's like to put a little bit of a white pill out there, right? I think it's pride comes before the fall, and I think these people are actually falling. I think that their pridefulness and their haughtiness is so strong that they think that even though that we're all noticing and they think it's part of their prophecy for everybody to hate them, that doesn't mean that they win in the end, right? Just because what they believe in their mind is that, like, prophecy is one thing, right? But is there any real prophecy? Like, because my personal opinion on all this now is Christ comes back just to judge. And when that day happens, that day happens. I think the third temple, I think all this like dispensationalist bullshit, Schofield Bible indoctrination and lies, I don't believe in any of it anymore. I think that this is like their plan. I'm not saying that I don't believe in the revelation of what John saw. I just believe that they're using the revelation of what John saw to project into people's minds and hearts to believe that we're in those times. I think that they're faking the end times prophecy right now. I think that they're trying to build the third temple because now you have to look at it from every position. You look at the Christian position, but then you have to understand it from the Jewish position, right? And the Jewish position is that what they believe in the Zohar, which is Kabbalah, and what they believe the third temple is that the third temple will be where the ruler is going to be, this world ruler, right? It's not the Antichrist to them. Like the Christians believe, it's the Antichrist, and that's when Christ will come back. But to them, it could just be Jared.
Moshiach.
Yeah, exactly. It could just be Jared Kushner. It could just be Jared Kushner. You know what I mean? They could just build a temple and, take out the Alaska Mosque and then build that temple. And then Jared Kushner could be the guy that with the Abraham Accords makes peace and he's a world leader. But all these Christian Zionists are like, believing that he's the Antichrist and this and that. And then it says, I think it's in Timothy, it talks about in the end times, there'll be scoffers, right? They'll be like, where's the Lord? Where's the Lord? Like all these things have happened. They've come to pass, but God hasn't come. And that's when like people will fall away, And I'm wondering if like, that's what they're trying to actually do is they're trying to pull more people away from Christ by having them believe in this prophecy, having them believe that God is coming back, and then he doesn't show up. It's like your dad that doesn't show up to your baseball game,
Yeah. So, I mean, I've gone back and forth with this because a lot of the question is like, I typically stand in a position where I go, you cannot force God's hand in prophecy. You cannot manufacture prophecy and force God to appear.
But the other on the other side of this question is prophecy specifically supernatural, or did John the Revelator just see this? Like he didn't see, I don't know, the fucking money behind making this happen, but he saw that event. I see that, and then I write that down. Like he's given glimpses. So I'm like, I don't know how that played out, and I don't know. Can you?
Well,
Agreed.
To what backs that in my mind is the magnitude of it. So it looks like obviously a lot of this shit has been in motion for thousands of years, right? But if you go back to like 47, the end of World War II, Operation Paperclip, the beginning of the CIA, the beginning of MK Ultra,
they put a rocket on this thing because they're like, we got 100 years.
Yeah.
And it's like 2030. It seems like people are like, Agenda 2030 is when we have to do something.
Yeah, and you have in that same area, you have the whole Roswell incident. You also have Jack Parsons, L. Ron Hubbard,
Aleister Crowley,
Aleister
the
Crowley,
Moonchilds.
All that shit is happening right there in that cluster of time. And if you look at today's events, it looks like the machines that were set in motion back then have fully come to fruition in today's era. So in that way, I go, well, we're in this generation that is the fruits of something that was set in motion back in about the 40s to 50s. And that's significant enough to me where I go, well, would that be prophesied about? Because it's such a big event. And it's so multifaceted. It includes like this UFO disclosure deception. It includes, MK Ultra and all these other things that happen. It includes so many aspects of like the spiritual realm and the things that were happening there. It includes all this shit that was a product of the Nazi regime and all the more occultic things that they were working on, all of that is coming to a head right now. And that to me is grandiose enough that I would say, well, that deserves writing about in scripture. I could imagine at least that it deserves writing about in scripture because it's so big and it's so complicated. It is this beast system, you know, it is a monstrosity.
But it is man-made, right?
It is man-made. And I also wonder about that too. It's like when you look at all of the things that are supposed to befall us, whether it's a sort of geological event, like a natural disaster event, or a pestilence, or a war, or you know, you name it. Well, all of these things are now, to the extent that they could be created by man, right? We were talking about HARP all those years ago. Yeah. That was all bullshit. Now they're just shooting Jewish lasers from space and creating fucking weather events in the open. So you can create the pestilence. We already went through that. Luckily, it was a bit of a dud, but I don't have any doubts in my mind that they could generate some real, you know, disastrous virus in a gain-of-function research lab. And you could, obviously, war is man-made, and famine could also be manufactured.
You're talking about the Four Horsemen.
Right, and you know, just that's kind of what people from a 1,000-foot overview think about the elements that go into place. You know, when shit comes to right before the return of Christ. So I do recognize we're in this unique place in history where we actually could create all of these elements, and plus the giant machine that was kickstarted in the 40s and is now seemingly coming to a head in 2026. I don't know. What I will say is, if you're trying to manufacture prophecy, they really fucking gave it their all.
Yeah, no question. I mean, like, do you think like back during like the Roman Empire, like when Nero was sacrificing people to a giant Statue of Liberty and making Roman candles of people, that they thought they were in the end times, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like, how many times have people believed that they're in the end times, right?
But
and like
could Nero and anybody at that time manufacture pestilence?
I don't know. We got niggas marrying AI wives right now.
Niggas
so like,
marrying AI wives.
It might be.
Well,
and I also don't think that the Roman Empire had. Well, the Roman Empire never went away, so maybe you could say it has space lasers. You know, there's just things that are layered on top of it now. Where I go, like, I know every generation before us thought they were it, but they weren't hybridizing things in deep underground military bases, allegedly, you know. So
it's harder to fight now. It's harder to fight now. That's
well,
really
I mean, it's not a black pill doomer thing, right? Like,
no,
our
it's
salvation
reality.
is Christ. It's already been fucking won. Like, you can release all the chimeric hybrid monstrosities you want from your deep underground military bases. I don't give a fuck. Like, I know where I'm going after this. Like, we already won, kind of a deal. But I do recognize, like, damn, dude.
Beast of the Earth is like, yeah, that's.
There's so many things that are so much. This includes so many more moving parts than I would say, maybe, unless you believe in like Atlantis and things like that. If they were really more advanced than us, and you know, this was a pre-Diluvian civilization, yada yada. Maybe.
First area.
Yeah, but right now, where we are, like in time, and the things that could potentially be leveraged against us to create an end times, piece of theater, it's pretty good.
No, it's great. It's great. I mean, they're doing a really damn good job, honestly. Like, a lot of people believe that we are. I mean, a lot of this like whole entire Christian Zionist notion is because they believe Christ is going to come back. So they're like, oh, this all has to happen, guys. Like, don't worry. Let them go 500,000 kids in Gaza. Like, that's
as many babies as it takes, dog.
That's supposed to happen. Like, Christ is going to come back. So we're good. Like, this is, let them do whatever they want. Let them fuck kids. Christ is coming back. And it's like, I don't think, like, because in my heart of hearts, God gave everybody free will, right? And I think we're still in that period of living in free will. I don't think like we're in this like prophecy of like, oh, we're seeing all these signs and times. And if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Like, I'll take that on the chin. But like, with my discernment, it's telling me that I think that these are man-made horrors. Like Tesla said, we will see man-made horrors. Like,
yeah,
we're watching that happen now, right? Like you said, like, they're doing all of these things, and they have the power and they have the technology to do it now. With this whole entire AI surveillance police state that's coming, and if you want to talk about the UFO disclosure and all that shit, my personal opinion, Project Bluebeam, I think that they'll definitely fake something. I'm not like a real believer in space, so I don't think there's Martians coming or anything like that. If they're from anywhere, they're probably from outer space, beyond the ice wall, extraterrestrial. I don't believe in any of this alien shit, but I know that they will fake it. Mm-hmm. I know that they could project a giant mother or even fly a giant mothership that they have, like you go back to Maria Orsic and Hitler and how they had the Nazi bell and all that shit. Like this technology's been there for a long time. Like we've known all about all this stuff, but I think that like, that's their wet dream though, is like Project Bluebeam, because it's like, how do you make a one world government? Fuck fighting Iran. Let's go fight the aliens, right? It's like, now we all have to come together. Now we all have to love Israel. Now we all have to be a part of the right, like we all have to be a part of the Abraham Accords, unless the aliens are Jewish too, and they're like, take me to your wall. But like, who knows? You know what I'm saying? Like, so we're at this point right now where it's like they're throwing everything at the entire kitchen sink, right? They're throwing everything at us, and it's to keep us like in our lower mind, our fear-based frequency. So that we don't do anything about it. But I think like God has given us free will. And I believe that people like us going out there and speaking like this and fighting for our country and fighting for God, fighting for Christ is the most important thing that we could do right now. Like anybody that's listening to this, whether you're in the chat or whatever, or if you watch this after, go out there and talk to people about this shit. Be bold right now. Don't be afraid. Like it is not the time to cower away from these conversations. Don't be scared to be called anti-Semitic. Don't be scared to be called crazy, because you're not crazy. Because this is the reality. And if we don't speak reality, then you know what? History is damned to repeat itself. And I really believe that what's coming for us is going to be like a Bolshevik revolution kind of style.
I agree. We have it easier than ever before. I mean, I'm sure you remember what it was like, being a younger man and trying to talk about conspiracies, and it's just like people are not receptive at all. But good luck staving off that conversation when Anna Paulina Luna's on TV or Boebert or any of these people. We were just talking about it in a previous podcast. It's like you've got Matt Gaetz. What's the vice president's name?
JD Vance.
JD Vance,
What was he saying? JD Vance was saying something about aliens not long ago.
He's saying that they were demonic. Matt Gaetz, I think, was saying that
hybridization.
they're running a hybridization program. And we're like,
and Nephilims and shit.
Yeah. This chick, Anna Paulina Luna, is, she's not only on the news talking about this, but she's also on Rogan's podcast.
Talking about the Book of Enoch.
Talking about Enoch and all this other shit. So it's like, whether or not you want to hear it, and I will say it escalated a lot quicker than I thought. It was like this idea of not boiling the frog or else it'll hop out. I would have thought that this would have been a longer sort of conversation, but people don't even realize what's happening on TV and on these big platforms, on Tucker Carlson. They're talking about this thing. They're talking about fallen angels. They're talking about alien disclosure. And so, yeah, I agree. It is time to start getting out, even if somebody scoffs at you and calls you anti-Semitic.
Well, what are you doing back here?
So what we want to do here is, because our studio is in a coffee shop, and in the coffee shop there's also a Christian library here in the back, and we've got a couple of places to record, and then we also record in that
Where are you
library.
guys in America?
We're in Florida. I got
Florida.
the fuck
we
out.
got out of New York, dog.
Yeah.
Okay,
What
I'm in Austin. I'm in Austin.
Oh, okay. All right.
okay.
You got out of there.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we're gonna start doing like these live conversations with just people that are here. It's really, we live in a boomer community.
We live in the villages.
We live in the villages.
Oh
Tyrese.
shit!
Yeah.
Oh,
Like, sit down, boomer.
Yeah,
you guys are surrounded.
Yeah, dude. So we're gonna start just telling them the craziest shit, and then if they say anything, we have like our TV, our monitor, and we're going, no, look, like Trump's talking about this shit, dummy. Matt Gaetz is talking about this shit. Anna Paulina, they're all talking about it.
I'm pretty sure that they're in there having a political meeting praying for Israel.
They're praying for Israel right now as we speak.
Little do they know they're in enemy territory.
Yeah, dude. It's a really fascinating place God has put us. And I think we kind of are the tools for this particular job in this particular area. He put a couple of unhinged retards in a retiree community, and so but yeah, man, I think you're right. Because if not, well, what's going to happen? Lauren Boebert is going to tell them. And like, I don't know what that bitch is talking about. I know this subject well enough that I can go and talk about it. You know what I mean? Or any of these people are going to become, and I think if we haven't learned anything from 2020, we should at least have come away with one thing, which was stop trusting the experts. You don't need to rely on some other individual, for your source of information, especially when that information is key to, whether or not you're gonna fucking die. And in this instance, it has a lot to do with your salvation, right? Where it's like, don't believe the government when they tell you space homies. Like, focus on Jesus Christ. And the Bible does enough about talking to non-human intelligences, if that's what you want to call them. There is enough supernatural beings within the Bible that if you think the Bible doesn't have answers for everything that's outside of humanity, you're totally fucking wrong. You're absolutely incorrect. So the Bible can, help you to understand these things, but also all this time of conspiracy can help you to understand. Like, I think you're right. There's nothing coming from space. I think there is a high likelihood. You said blue beam. I wouldn't be surprised if it's an amalgamation of things. Blue beam is going to be one aspect of it.
Well, like the Jersey drones, right?
Right.
Lasers,
There's going to be tech,
bombs, all kind of shit. Yeah, they're going to make it
also,
look
if you
real.
think they're not making flesh and blood shit underground, yeah, they're doing that, dude.
Oh,
They're
look at the
doing that.
Podesta's art. Look at the Podesta art, like with the chimeras of the children mixed with like elephants and pigs.
All kinds of horrific shit.
Disgusting.
Yeah, they're gonna release shit and they're gonna show things, and we're gonna be, well, I mean, I'll be fine, but a lot of people are gonna be really confused. The boomers, the 501c3 boomers who are praying to Israel, they're gonna be really confused. The Bible doesn't say chimeric elephant babies.
Oh, yes, it does. I mean, there's a lion-faced man in Moab right there. Did you read that, or did you just listen to the pay your tithes message from your pastor?
Yeah. Facts. Yeah, a lot of eugenics was going on for a long time. I mean, the Book of Enoch is a book of eugenics, like literally.
Effectively, yeah. I would say that's pretty accurate. Yeah.
Also,
and that's
Genesis 1. Genesis 6.
Genesis 6. Yeah.
That's specifically what they're talking about.
Yeah, and like that has not changed. That's who these people are. Like, this is like my personal opinion. I'm sure your guys' opinion as well is that we are dealing with the Watchers still to this day. Like, still Aziel and all these guys are still over here, and they're still, their bloodlines are what are controlling everything to this day. We're still being led by these people, these things, whatever they are.
That is to say, we're still in a biblical struggle, and this is still the serpent seed that we're dealing with. Like, this is, it's not just like the Bible is a book of shit that happened a long time ago, and you should have some reverence for it. It's like, no, it's telling you the nature of reality.
Facts.
The nature of the place that you live, and this evil that you struggle against that everybody wants to call a different thing. It's all of the same spirit. It's the spirit of Satan, right? It's the spirit of the adversary, and it's been at work for a really long time. So yeah, man, I it's a fascinating place to find yourself, and I imagine it's the same for you. You've been in this since 2001. Did you ever think that? I mean, what do you make of it? We're sitting in this time where everything that you ever looked at is somehow ending up on a major news syndication.
Somehow true.
Yeah, bro. I mean, like, because I've been telling like my parents this stuff for a long time. Like, I was kicked out of schools. 14 years addicted to opiates. Like, when no one's believing you, and like you're like this scared child that's like looking at videos of like coffins being built and guillotines.
The FEMA coffins, dude.
Remember that? In Georgia, like the fucking
dude.
Yeah,
the giant plastic coffins. I was like,
they wasn't
turn every
there,
fucking
bro.
Walmart into a FEMA camp.
They wasn't there, bro. They don't know about it.
Sucked.
Dude, scary times, bro. Learning about the New World Airport and like all that shit that, so it's just like my whole life, I'm just like, fuck the Illuminati. They're coming for me. They're coming, like just being like this schizo guy. And now it's just like, it's all reality. I'm like, oh, these guys are faggots. Like, fuck them. You know what I mean? Like, now I'm just like,
how I feel.
Like I was a scared little guy, like my whole life. And now I'm just like, these guys are a bunch of pussies. Come do it. I'm ready.
Yeah, bro. Amen. Dude, when I was a kid, it was I was the pariah of my friend group or a
Same.
novelty. You know, they'd be like, "Hey, Dave," we'd be fucking smoking weed in some abandoned. They'd be like, "Hey, Dave, tell them about the fucking coffins. Tell them about the coffins. Tell them how they're gonna do a
bro.
virus one day in a lab, and there's gonna be a fucking a vaccine." Wait till he says it. He says the craziest shit. Dave, tell him the crazy shit, and then I
Yep.
tell him, and somebody would either look at me like I was a retarded, or they would be scared, and then they wouldn't want to talk to me anymore because it wasn't, you know. And you have this overwhelming feeling at that age where like. It's happening, like it's gonna happen any day now. Like any day you're gonna wake out. I had bug out bags with knives and supplies in it.
Still
I had to go
do.
hide. Yeah, martial law was coming, right? That was the big thing. Martial law was coming and shit. I have my bug out bag, but now it's in a safe with guns and it's actually very official.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that was a really hard time.
For sure.
It's a weird thing to square that like you were kind of correct. You were just 20 years too early, like 20.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Yeah.
weird.
We had to suffer, right? We had to suffer. It was like
Yeah.
we had to go through that. We had to go through the embarrassment and the shame. And it's like, it's not a win. Like, you know, I always tell people, like, I wish I was that crazy fucking kid, dude. I wish I was wrong about all this shit. I wish it was
Yeah.
just some conspiracy. It was all bullshit and a lie, you know? Like I don't want to have like you know, this moment of like, haha, I told you so. Like, no, I want to be wrong. Like, I don't want these freaks to be controlling our planet. I don't want any of this to happen, but it is, and it's just like you got to take it on the chin.
Anthony, isn't it weird that you know, I imagined that if it ever came to pass that the shit that I used to talk about was revealed to be true, that I would have at least some feeling of like vindication. So it would be like, yeah, maybe like a I told you so moment. It does not at all feel.
It feels bad, and we've had so many of those in the last 3 months even.
Yeah, I mean, you
We
name a
sat
show.
right here, and we were like just fucking vindication, and we're like, how do you feel, Dave? Like shit, dog. Like this is not
weird.
so great.
It's
Doesn't
real.
feel- I mean, we named the show Nephilim Death Squad, and they're talking about Nephilim on the news. You
We
would
should be
think,
like, hey, this is great for the algorithm, and I'm just kind of like, oh,
I
God,
go like,
no, like
it's good for business.
Yeah.
the ones and
Like,
zeros,
fuck.
or
I'm gonna have to go
But it
fight a
doesn't feel
Nephilim
like
now.
I thought it would.
might
Like-
have to actually one of these things right
Yeah,
now.
like-
Fuck, man.
Like what? Like I've been talking about these things for so long. Now I might have, they're my ops for real.
Yeah,
Like-
right. And they're fucking like, I don't know if you remember any of the discussions. They're like super big.
Turns out the
Oh,
Nephilim
yeah.
are the
Fucking eat
real
people.
N-word.
Yeah, the actual
Yeah, they're the
N-word.
real
is
niggas.
Nephilim.
They're the
They're
real
fucking
niggas.
huge. Yeah, they're hungry. That's not cool, man. It just doesn't feel like I thought it would.
Giant of Kandar. Like who wants to deal with that? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no.
I'm good. I'm good. I got guns, but I don't know.
I'm
like
saying like if I see one, like I believe in God. So if God set me up to talk about this for a long time, and then God saw fit to put one in front of me, I'd have to go and be like, all right, fucking, this isn't me. God
Yeah.
put one in front of me, so
Yeah.
for the glory of God, you know. And if I win, it's because God did this, not me.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'd be pumped about it.
no. And it's like for me, I've accepted the inevitability of being, you know, a human, right? Is death. A lot of
Sure,
people
yeah.
haven't though, bro. A lot of people have not come to terms with that. A lot of people are still like very much like trying to hold their treasures, you know, and not realizing that they're not going to be moth eaten and your gold will erode, you know. And like we're living in this time where people are being put in such an uncomfortable position that a lot of them are breaking. Like I know at least like 3 dudes from Jersey that killed themselves in like the past like couple of months, bro. Like suicide is like super high, especially for men. I mean, it's men's mental health month right now. Like, and like,
I thought
you
it
know,
was dude sucking dudes dicks month.
no. That's in
That's not what
Israel.
that is?
That's in Israel.
Oh, my
God
bad.
bless Israel.
In America, we're praying for the men that are going through these hard times right now. But it's like, but like for dudes like us, like we've kind of already like been kicked in the dick so many times that like our balls are numb, you know, like
Mhm.
these other people, like they're just getting it right now. you know, like they're just feeling the lashing. Like, so maybe like even being black pilled and like learning about those coffins and being the crazy kid was kind of like our training to get to this point to be like numb to it, you know?
I think it was a blessing because imagine this. I don't know if you had a similar reaction to it, but when you're learning these things, you feel like something is going to happen any day now, and you're trying to express this to people, and there's no reciprocation whatsoever. And so eventually you have to just kind of chill the fuck out. In fact, I went through a period, I was homeless while I was learning all this shit, and I was not getting my life together because I thought it was going to happen like any moment. So why am I going to bother building? And eventually, I was so sick of being this sack of shit who hadn't achieved anything that I had to put these things to the side and start to try to build. And I had to live with that. You know, it was in the back of my head, and I had it there, but I had to suppress it. I had to tell it to chill out so that I can get on with my life. And you know, obviously, eventually, we start the show, and the world is on fire with and all this shit. So it all makes sense that I have this in my back pocket. But imagine instead, you were exposed to all of that stuff, and so was everybody else. And everybody else was reciprocating. And suddenly you're surrounded by thousands of people who are all seeing what you're seeing, and they're all echoing back the same sentiments. Like, that madness, thank God it happened in a vacuum where nobody was pouring gasoline on that fire.
Facts.
I think that it would have been, and I don't think it was unique to me. Did you have this experience?
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean, like as gay as this sounds, but like I said, I was black pilled at such a young age that I became blue pilled. Like I just did oxys all the time. Like I sniffed oxy 30s for like 14 years of my life, threw away my life just because I was like, fuck it. Like we're going to die anyway. Like the Illuminati's coming. I'm just going to get fucking high on pills all the time. Fuck girls.
World War III's coming.
Yeah, bro. Just fucking throw it out, you know? And it literally, as gay as this sounds, like Q is what kind of gave me hope again, you know? Like QAnon was like, sure. Oh shit, like all the conspiracies that I've been afraid of my whole life, like Donald Trump and JFK Jr. are gonna save us. There's like this.
All right,
there's this military plan. I'm gonna clean my shit up a little bit. Let me let me do something with myself here, you know. And I was like, and now it's like that I found out that none of it's real. It's like, did I go down and break down and go back to doing drugs? No, absolutely not, because I have Christ now. You know, like I've always been a Christian, you know, like I was born Roman Catholic, left the Roman Catholic Church. Like I'm sure I could do 10 episodes with you guys for me to tell you my whole story. But like, you know, born a Christian, kind of just like withered away from my faith, but always believed in Christ, but not really fell in love with the Bible and all that stuff. Because like as a conspiracy theorist, I'm sure as you guys know as well, is like you question the Bible. You're like, oh, the Council of Nicaea. Oh, Caesar Borgia's son. And, oh, that's not actually Jesus. And like, you know, if you've seen, what was that classic conspiracy video back in the day? Zeitgeist, yeah. You're like, oh, they're all the same Tammuz and this and that. And it's like, you know, you kind of fall out with that. But like, Christ is always there. Christ has always been there for me. I've always, you know, every night before I lay my head down, I pray. Like, so it's always been there, but it wasn't like a full connection. And I'll make a long story short for you guys, but I actually had an experience that made me believe in the Bible, right? And this was around 2020, where
in this story,
no, this is probably important. This is
specifically what our show's about.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got a couple stories, but I'll give you this one for today. So during 2020, when all this shit was going on, and I was going through this whole entire like awakening of a different kind of awakening, I became super new age, you know, because of all like, rest in peace David Wilcock, but like I was following like Above Majestic and like believing in like, you know,
banger of a documentary, by the way.
Yeah, great documentary. And doing all these like meditations and like all this shit, like connecting my chakras and all that gay shit, you know. So doing a lot of ketamine, and so one night I do a guided meditation from this guy. His name is Dr. Tad James, right? And the meditation is about the council that watches over you or whatever, right? And
How many people are in it?
How
many people are in the council? Do you happen to know, or was it like
it was just like you're going to see the people that have been watching over you, and like you're entering this room and the lights.
So
and
it's a Gates program-esque, kind of like a Monroe Institute guided
facts.
meditation. Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm on ketamine. Okay.
Hell yeah.
So it's like
crushing.
So like I'm opening up the veil pretty big here, right? So anyway, so I get into the meditative state. I'm in this like arena or wherever I'm at, and this is before I believe in the Bible. Like I'm still questioning the Bible, still love Christ, but still questioning the Bible. Don't really believe in it. Never even really like opened the Bible and read it. But like I had a lot of people like in the Q space that were Christian. They're like, you have to start believing in the Bible. Like just open the Bible, just believe in the Bible. And this is even before I even opened the Bible. So I'm still new age at the time. And I enter into this realm or whatever, and this being approaches me, hand to God, swear to you, had no idea what this creature was, but it comes up to me, and it has the head of a human, the head of a lion, an eagle, and an ox.
Hell yeah, dog.
And
it's a biblically accurate angel.
It's a fucking
giant, right? And it has these wings and like all this stuff, and it looks at me and it's like, you need to know who you are. Like, we've been protecting you. Don't be afraid of me. Like all this stuff, whatever. Right. And then I have this other being fly in front of me, and it has like rainbow wings, and it like looks back at me and it says like, you really need to know who you are. Right. Months and months and months and months go by. And I'm finally like a little receptive to like, okay, you know what? I do have to look into the Bible. Like, you know,
wait, hold on a second, Anthony. What the fuck happens? You're chilling with these two things. They're talking to you, and then
that was it. I came out. I came out of the experience. Yeah, I came out of the experience. Yeah, and like months and months go by or whatever, and then I'm like, okay, you know what? I do need to look into the Bible. Like, I need to do this, and like I didn't know what to do, so I was like, should I start from the front? Do I start here? Do I start there? So you know what I did, dude? I swear to you on everything I love in this world, I just opened up the Bible. I was like, wherever it takes me, that's where I'm going to start. I was like, this is just how I'm going to do it. I'm going to let God guide me. Swear to God on everything I love in this world. The book I opened to is the book of Ezekiel. And in the book of Ezekiel, it literally explains the exact same being that was right in front of my face. And I said, I believe in the Bible.
Yeah, dude, that'll do it.
Yep.
That'll do it.
Just like that. I was like, I believe in the Bible. I was like, God's word's real. And I got baptized, and then I fully fell in love with the gospel. I fell in love with the Bible, and here I am to this day. You know,
it's so crazy, man.
Looking back on that, what sort of what was the nature of that entity that you saw? Because you saw a cherubim, or like that's a classification of angel. There's like 9 types.
Yeah.
Did you feel like, I mean, I guess you didn't have the knowledge to ask it who it serves, because there are still fallen angels and there are angels that are within the grace of God. And I think that people come in contact with either. So I'm always suspicious of when people are encountering these things and they're telling them to do stuff. It's like, well,
do not fear is a good start, right?
That's a good start.
That's a good start.
Yeah.
Because typically, biblically, that's what they start with, because people freaking fuck out.
But this thing nudged him into the Bible.
It nudged him into the Bible, and it said you need to know who you are. I mean, what the hell how do you even interpret that?
I have no idea, man, because like then like somebody, a lot of different experiences started to come up with the book of Ezekiel. You know, like people were having like, I don't want to call it a prophecy or whatever, but people were like praying over me or whatever. And like one of the things that they said, like, you're a watchman, you're a watchman, you're a watchman. And like, that's also in Ezekiel. And it's like, all of this stuff was like connecting for me. And I was just like, you know, when I felt the presence of this being though, it didn't feel like a negative entity, you know.
Okay.
It felt like strength. It felt like a strength that was being served towards me, you know, like in a way of saying like, we're here and we're helping you, you know, like we've always kind of been with you, you know, like in a protection form, you know, and like that's what actually made me start to believe in the Bible, because I've had many experiences when it comes to like spirituality, I mean, I've been astral projecting since I was a child. You know, I've been leaving my body.
Shit.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like we could have 20 episodes about my life. Like I was actually in the gate program. I was brought into like secret rooms, the pink juice, the earphones, all that shit.
Yeah.
Went through all of that. Been astral projecting since I was a child. Used to fly to my neighbor's house, who was like this nice old woman, and it was like insidious. Like she had demons all over her house and like monsters, and like I would see that. And like until I was 14 years old, I used to sleep on my mom's floor because I would have night terrors so bad. I've had like sleep paralysis probably over like 5,000 times, where like I just feel like something's holding me down and I can't get up. And like the only way I could get out is if I say Jesus's name. So like,
does it happen anymore?
Not anymore. No, it hasn't happened in a long time. Long time. I was also given I used to be a rapper. Corny, I know, but I used to be a rapper, and like,
you know what's so funny though? Wait. Because
you were too.
It's like I used to be do ketamine and be new age and all this other shit. It's like I used to be a rapper. I know that's gay. Like that's fucking, and I respect the shit out of that, bro. Because you know the priorities here. If I had two people in front of me, one was a rapper and one was a new age practitioner, I'd be like, I'd rather talk to the new age practitioner.
Honestly, that's the one thing that he said so far that surprised me.
No, it doesn't surprise me, dude. Like, because that was dumb shit that I literally used to hold. This is something I've never told you, because I used to be a wigger, and I would hold my homies captive in the back seat, and they'd be like, Dave, rap. And we would record it on the phones and shit.
You rap,
I was
bro?
never no, I didn't fucking rap. I was a
soon,
wigger.
guys.
I said, but yeah, your story is extremely similar to mine. And not just to
Jersey,
mine,
bro.
It's just Jersey.
It's the water. I don't think that. See,
You're gonna astral project.
you're gonna astral project. I had a lot of shadow people, demonic encounters, all that shit growing up. My grandmother, I don't think that I was part of any programs. My grandmother, I think, was though. She used to write papers on remote viewing and all this other crazy shit. And I'm like,
nice.
How are you doing this? She was a new age practitioner. She was an alien abductee victim as well. Never turned to Christ. I think that's why everything went south for her. But
when you were a child,
Go ahead.
when you were a kid and you started to astral project, because that happened to me as well, but it was like more like conditions. There were conditions around me. There was a certain TV that was playing. It would be fucking always Michael K watching the Yankees or the Yes
was it
Network.
a tube TV?
Yeah, it was.
I think there was something to the tube TV that facilitated some shit.
I would
for
just be
sure,
like-
for sure.
I'd feel my body go, and like my uncle's there, my dad's behind me and shit, but I can see the whole room. So I'm like astral projecting, but I was too scared to ever like venture off too far from where I was, and I would just somehow get back in. And I was like, I'm not doing that. And I never explored it. How did that start for you?
I've pretty much the same, man. I mean, like at first, like it was like I was just like floating around my room, you know, like I would just like see like looking down at myself, and I'd be like, what the fuck is going on? But then like I started to venture off, and I would always end up at my neighbor's house. Always. Like,
Oh shit.
yeah, that's what like she was an old lady. She was like a nice old lady, like in reality.
And you would see in the different rooms of her house.
In the astral, yeah.
Yeah. Like Insidious. You ever see the movie Insidious?
Yeah. I have trouble remembering it though. But you're saying like the different rooms in her house had different entities in them.
Yeah, like dead bodies everywhere, like demons, like a monster chasing me, like straight up just like Insidious. Like when I saw the movie Insidious, it fucked me up so much because it like reminded me so much of my childhood. I was like, wow, so other people experienced this before. Like this is a real thing, you know?
Do you know anything about your maybe what like your parents dabbled in, or maybe what your grandparents dabbled in?
No, nothing like that. No, nothing. No.
Because typically, I think when it happens to you at a really young age, there's been rights and consents given over by previous generations. The Bible calls it generational iniquity. And I found that, like, for me, that really checks out because I've had abduction experiences and demonic encounters and, you name it. But grandma was a fucking new age practitioner who didn't, I think she went that direction because something was given access to her at a young age. And rather than go to Christ, she went to a bunch of
Burn some sage.
Burn some sage, do some fucking, remote viewing, whatever. So
no one immediate. Like my grandparents are both Christians, like on both sides, like super like went to church, read the Bible. So nothing immediate. I mean, the one weird thing I will say that is in my family is in Sicily, my ancestors were dukes. So there's an actual castle that's in Sicily with my last name that like when my grandparents went over there, they said their last name, like they were treated like royalty because of like this castle or whatever. So maybe who the fuck knows what they were doing in that castle? They might have been like Freemasons or Illuminati or whatever, you know. Like
That's interesting, dog. You should look into that. Not because those debts have already been paid, right? The blood of Christ is
Amen.
Literally, it fixes all that, breaks all those bonds and all those contracts. But I wouldn't be surprised if you look back a little bit and you find like, oh, that's why. Because generational iniquity can visit the bloodlines up to like sevenfold. So seven generations from an individual. And then, of course, if it happens again, right? So like if you look at my grandmother and what she did, she had 3 kids. One of them tragically given up for adoption. The other 2 girls, one of them is full-blown schizophrenic, which is not, I don't even want to say it's our opinion. I've done enough research on this shit. That's a spiritual disposition. It has nothing to do with the chemical brain imbalance or some shit like that. And then the schizophrenic lady, my aunt, that lady, her 2 kids, both, one of them's in the new age and one of them is recovering from schizophrenia that came on set in childhood. And my mother has all these fucking weird experiences, little shadow people running around the house, yada, yada. And then my whole life has been dotted with I'm sitting here in this chair because of very similar circumstances to you. To me, I go, oh yeah, no doubt, dog. Generational iniquity. My son was having experiences when he was real little. He doesn't have shit anymore. I prayed the blood of Christ over any sort of contracts or bonds or iniquity that is in my bloodline because of, like, everything and anything that I could think of, and nothing happens to my son anymore. Nothing happens to me anymore. Like
same.
And it's a stark contrast from the life that I had before. And also, I had a very similar situation. I didn't see an angel. I saw the greasiest of demons. And then my wife saw the same demon. And then my son saw the same demon. And then calling on Jesus Christ stopped it. And I was like, okay, it's time to look at this. And that's when I turned this corner. Maybe it is a New Jersey thing. But what I'm saying is I can see people in the chat. And the chat is like, this is the same story as me. And I get that all the time. Like, your circumstances, my circumstances, the people in the chat, like, this is very common, a lot more common. It was a good year or 2 into us doing this show before I found out that your grandmother was doing all kinds of like Santeria shit or whatever it was in the village, in the trash island of Puerto Rico. So it's like, this is much more, my wife, the same thing. She has a witch in her bloodline. Like, this is super common.
Oh yeah.
I think so many people are suffering from this and have no idea that it's happening at all or how to get out of it.
Oh, for sure. No question. And I think like, just from experience alone, it's like seeing that Christ can, like you said, end all of that, just like completely shut it down, I mean, I can make another long story to a short story of actually how I found Christ, because that's a crazy one too.
Let's go.
Okay, so back to what I was saying, I wanted to be a rapper, right? So like, me and my friends, like we, what Pasha is in New York City? Like we used to go to Pasha.
Yeah, the club. Yeah,
it was a club. Yeah, we sell ecstasy, like do a bunch of crazy shit, whatever. When we were younger, listen to a lot of Lil Wayne, and like Lil Wayne would always be like, "Yeah, I sold my soul." So like we would just like fuck around and say, "Yeah, we'll sell our soul to become famous or whatever." So whatever, stupid shit. We're kids, whatever. So my friend, his dad was the manager of a bar, Nutley, New Jersey.
Yeah.
You know where Nutley's at? All right. So my friend's dad was a manager at a bar in a place in Nutley. And there was these apartment buildings that were over the bar. And this band moves into the apartment buildings, and whatever, they start like hanging out there. We became friends with them. We started going to parties at their house. And this guy moves in off of Craigslist. And he said to my friend that lives in the house, he goes, "Yo, I feel a spirit in this house." Right,
the Craigslist
the guy that moves in off the Craigslist into the band.
Get the fuck out of here, dog.
Into the band's house, right? Yeah, exactly. So he draws a picture of it, right? And he draws a picture of, what the Ganesh is? The Ganesha?
Very familiar. Ganesh. What is that?
Is that like the elephant god?
It's the elephant. It's the elephant god, correct? Yes.
Oh, okay.
So he draws a picture. He draws a picture of Ganesh, and it's like,
there was a lot of Indians moving into New Jersey around that time. Honestly, dude, it sounds like a fucking joke. You bring spirits and powers and principalities that are, that have bonds over you.
Exactly.
They don't just break those bonds because you leave a country.
Yeah, no, facts. So he was saying like this spirit is in this house or whatever. So the drummer of the band goes, "Yo, that's crazy." But the guy that used to live next door, he got into a fight with his chick. He punched a hole in the wall, very New Jersey, right? And inside the hole in the wall, there was a potato sack, a burlap sack. And
What?
inside, dude, this is a crazy ass story. Swear to God, everything that I'm telling you is 1000% real. Pulls the potato sack out of the wall, and inside the potato sack, there's 2 carved masks. The one is of the Ganesh, and the other is of Baphomet. Okay. Check this, right? So I told you guys I've been a conspiracy theorist my whole life. I've been looking into shit my whole life, been knowing about the Illuminati and all this shit my whole life, right? So my friend tells me the story. I'm like, yo, I got to go meet that guy, right? I got to go talk to that guy. I got to go meet him. So whatever, I go there, I go meet the guy. And like, he's a normal ass dude. Like, he's just like some white boy, whatever. And like, as soon as like I walk into his room, on his wall, he has a bunch of Egyptian hieroglyphics, right? And there's like a fake rubber snake at the bottom. And I'm like, oh, what's that? And he's like, oh, this is a portal. He's like, this is how I enter the ethereal realm, and I'm able to, you know,
Good God.
yeah, astral project into the ethereal realm. And this is how I knew that spirit was here. So whatever, we start talking, start shooting the shit, going back and forth, you know, conspiracy. He gives me a book, okay? And the book is not like some sacred book that came out of a cave or anything. You can go buy it in Barnes and Nobles. It's called the Book of Lies, right? And the Book of Lies is like this like esoteric Aleister Crowley kind of book, right? Yeah, and it has like all these different like things. Like, okay, for example, I go back to my boy's house, I take the book or whatever, I go back to my boy's house, and like one of the first pages of the book is like how to invoke the spirit.
Yeah, it's a Crowley book. That's right.
Yeah, it's a Crowley book. How to invoke the spirit of James Bond, right?
What
Like
the fuck?
if you want to be cunning to women, like to be cunning to women, if you want to invoke the spirit of James Bond,
James
which
Bond
is
or John D.
right? And it's actually connected to Hermes. Right? They say
Okay.
like the spirit of James Bond is actually connected to Hermes. And if you invoke the spirit of James Bond, you're invoking the spirit of Hermes, and women will see you as more attractive or whatever. Then like the next one is like how to get like fame and fortune, like how to basically sell your soul, right? And like at the time, I believe in Christ, but I don't have Christ. You know, I'm like just empty. I'm an empty vessel. I'm like going out all the time. I'm doing drugs. I'm hanging out with the wrong people. I'm invoking the wrong things into my life. And my boy shows up out of thin air. He's a born again Christian, right? Shows up out of thin air at my boy's house. And I tell him, I'm like, yo, I got this book. And like, first off, the first page of the book is a picture of the Baphomet. Then like it's all these spells and all these things that you could do or whatever. And I tell him about it. And I'm like, and I'm not gonna lie to you, dude. I feel like I'm kind of being possessed right now. Like I feel like
That's
there's
what
like
you said that to
What a
him.
crazy
Yeah.
sentence.
Yeah, I was like,
Damn.
straight up, I'm like, I feel very weird. Like I feel like something's trying to take over me, like legit. So he's like, dude, get rid of that book immediately. Da da da. So like whatever, we throw the book in the sewer, and he's like, so we go back to the house or whatever, and he's like, okay, well, like now you need to pray, you know. And like I was raised Roman Catholic, so to me, prayer is like Hail Mary and Our Father, and like, you know, he's like, he's a born again, so he's like a different kind of Christian. So he's like, no, like when you pray, like you need to go talk to Christ, you know, like you need to talk to Jesus, right? So I'm like, okay, like, and there was a crucifix on the wall, and I remember like a clear day, and I look at the crucifix and I start praying. I'm like, Jesus, I don't want to sell my soul. I don't want to be a part of this. I don't want anything to do with this. Like, I please break me away from all this stuff. And dude, when I tell you, I swear to you, I had chills come over my entire body that were so strong it made me fall to my knees, and tears started to pour out of my eyes, right? And it was like a gray day outside, and the sun became so bright, and it, like a wind came and it pushed a lamp against the crucifix. And it looked like there was a sunrise that was over the crucifix, right? And then like I feel like cleansed. I feel like a completely new person, right? At the time, I didn't have my license, so I called my brother. I'm like, yo, you got to come pick me up, whatever. Da 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 da. Months and months and months and months go by. I don't go back to that house where the parties are at over the bar. And I know as cliche as it is, they have a party on Halloween. So my friend's like, yo, you got to come down, man. Like, it's going to be a rager. Like, all these chicks are coming. It's going to be sick, whatever. So I'm like, fuck it. Whatever, I'll go. So I go, I knock on the door, and the drummer opens the door. He's like, yo, Graff, what's up, dude? Like, haven't seen you in so long, where you been? And I'm like, yeah, like this weird situation happened with the guy that moved in, and he gave me this book and He's like, yo, that guy moved out months ago. I'm like, oh, really? He's like, yeah, like he just like never left his room. He'd always be in there. Maybe we partied too much, whatever. He moved out, I was like, did he say anything? He said, yeah, his work here was done.
What the fuck?
Yep.
Now check this out. Go to find out that place where the bar and the apartments are was an old Masonic hall. And the reason why those masks were in the wall, because they used to wear those masks to invoke those spirits.
Yeah.
And it was hollow ground, basically, where I could basically get this deal, right? Of like, okay, you want to become an occultist, you want to sell your soul, you want to follow this path. Here you go. Here's the book. Here, start following Aleister Crowley, start doing these things. And instead, God had a different plan for me. He sent that born again Christian, my friend Art, there to come and teach me who Christ is and to actually how to repent. And when that day happened, that's when Christ came into me. And I realized, this is really the path that I need to start to take. And this is me still questioning the Bible and years and years of abuse and everything, but just being cleansed from that, like that choice of path. And it's funny, like at the same time is when Mac Miller started to blow up. So it was almost like I had the chance, right, to be like, whether, be a Mac Miller, like white rapper, corny, gay, whatever the fuck it is, thing. And it was like, no, you have this other choice. You have this other path that you can take. And maybe that whole entire thing is connected back to that castle with my family and that I have the opportunity to do it. I mean, I was told by this one guy in jiu-jitsu, he was like super deep into the Monroe Institute. Like he did all the hemi syncing and all of the gateway experience, like highest level or whatever. And like, he told me, he's like, you don't know about your bloodline, do you? And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, no, like you have a tainted bloodline. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, you're connected to the Orsini family. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, your family, is there royalty over there in Italy? And I was like, yeah, there's actually like a castle. He's like, yeah, you actually have Orsini blood in you. I don't know if you guys know who the Orsinis are, but like,
no.
Yeah, that's one of like what do they call them? The black nobility families.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah,
they're 12
actually,
or 13 families.
Yeah. So they're like they're known as the Bear of Italy. They're like the Black Popes. And supposedly, I mean, I haven't confirmed that, but this is what he told me, was like that he is able to do like a lineage check through whatever spiritual guidance that he got. And he's like, yeah, you have Orsini blood in you. And I was like, I don't know, maybe, but there is a castle. There is like an entire royal bloodline with my family there. And like I said, who knows what they were doing? Maybe they weren't the good kind of dukes, knowing what these royalties and what they've done for so long with ritualistic things. Maybe there was a taint in my bloodline. Maybe there really was like some dark shit that was put there. And like you said, back to the whole entire thing to make the circle, was that's broken now. That Christ broke those bonds, that Christ took away that generational curse, that there are no more sleep paralysis, that there are no more me leaving my body, that there is no more of these weird situations coming at me. Now it's just me being, who I am, a warrior of Christ, a light in this world, a salt of the earth,
And how long after that still did it take you to really, I guess, figure out your walk? Because it doesn't just happen. I'm assuming like, you say the prayer in your friend's house.
Yeah.
But the change in you doesn't happen right away. You probably go years. Like
I was 21, dude. I was 21.
When that
I'm 30,
happened.
I'm 37. I got baptized at 32. So
yeah.
a while. A while.
Yeah. Yo, but all right, so that thought process, you're a conspiracy theorist for so long, and then all of a sudden now you're looking at Aleister Crowley's Book of Lies, and and I found myself in a similar situation, so I kind of wanted to talk about that mindset where it's like you know Aleister Crowley's not a good dude.
Yeah.
And you also know that the symbolism that is all over Hollywood and the music industry is all satanic and Luciferian, which is actually kind of funny that it took me or you as long as it did to come to Christ, because it's like you could see the mark of the adversary all over everything. And that's kind of weird that you don't immediately go, well, then there's probably some real veracity to Jesus Christ. But it's, I mean, you know, I spent a long time looking at the other side. I always say, like, I came into the church through the back door. I came through occultism and everything. And there was a time for me as well where I was looking at Crowley in a really serious way. And my thought process was something like, well, the only way that I'm going to know definitively if it's real, because I can see that it's there, but the only way that I'm going to know if it's real is if I really like dig in. I've really got to dig in.
Yeah, same way.
So for me, what happened was I think God sent me my wife. Like within those months that I'm looking at, like I'm watching Crowley documentaries and I'm reading obscure shit on the internet and I'm trying to go down this path, and all of a sudden my wife comes into my life and I become totally preoccupied with that. Like to the extent that I lose my job, I can't even focus on selling fucking furniture anymore because I'm just so everything is about this chick. And then, you know, all that leads me to this place, but like there is this weird thought process where it's like, how much, it's almost like being a scientist, right? How much are you going to engage in theory before you get your hands dirty?
Facts, dude. Oh, that's such a good point. I mean, like during that 2020 period, like where I became super new age, like that's when I was like diving deepest into the occult. Like, you know, this situation happened with me with Crowley and like always looking into these rabbit holes with like the Illuminati and all this stuff. And then like it was actually I don't know if you ever heard of this book, Secret Teachings of All Ages by Manly P. Hall.
Yep, yeah.
I read that
That's
book
like
and I was
kind
like,
of his big thing, yeah.
yeah. So like I read that book and I was like, man, I want these powers, you know, like I want to be like 11 on Stranger Things. Like I want to be able to like move shit with my mind and like, you know, do all of these things. And like, this is what will unlock it for me. If I learn how to do these magic tricks, basically, like if I learn how to just become a part of them, then I could use it for good though. Right. It's like, oh, cause you know, that's like the thing with the occult is like where they tell you, it's like, it's all about your intention, right? Like if you're going to use it for negative, then you're going to use it for negative, but you could also use it for good. But in reality, you can't. There is no good when you're playing with magic, you know? And I think that's like the same thing for me is like, I was like, I'm so interested in it that I need to just keep exploring it. Like I need to keep on going deeper into it to see like how far I can go. And then like, as soon as I had that experience where like the cherubim approached me, I was like, okay, yeah, God is putting me back on the other path now. Yeah. It's like, I need to leave that whole entire, cause like, dude, I was doing like crazy deep meditations, like, you know, just like seeing so many different things and like just messing with like so many different psychedelics. Like for me to actually get off of opiates, I did Ibogaine, right? So like, which is like the strongest form of any kind of DMT. You know, it's a 12 to 8 hour trip and it actually can reset your entire mind from an addictive to a pre-addictive state. So like I've done so many different things in the spiritual realm and I was just like, you become fascinated with that, right? Because it's like you hate reality so much and like how much goy slop is surrounding us in this world that it's like I just want to tap out.
Right? I got to work for 40 fucking years and then I got to retire. And meanwhile, the world is filled with all these mysteries that these fucking midwits are telling me aren't real. They're not real. Dude. So I got to work and then I got to retire and hopefully they give me a gold pin on my way out. And I have to ignore all, because, you know, it just becomes that thing where it's like, how long is this going to remain theoretical? How much vindication do you need before you go, okay, it is there. Yes. I can see it. I'm not retarded. Like it's showing up over and over and over again. It's in the architecture. It's in the movies. It's in the music. It's in fucking everything. Yeah. And all these characters are ingrained one way or another in pop culture. Aleister Crowley being, you know, a great example of them. Like this is the thing that moves and shakes the world behind the scenes. And yeah, am I going to go along with the flow of the goyim and fucking, you know, eat the slop and die? Or am I going to actually touch this thing?
Yeah. It's that like carrot that's dangled in front of your face, you know, and it's like I just love to disassociate, you know. I just love to just like leave my body and just like leave this world, you know. That's why I've like been doing drugs my whole life. I've been smoking weed since I was like 12. And it's just like when you look into the occult and like as you're fucking with drugs and doing things like that, it's like the craziest disassociation ever, right? It's just like
Yeah.
you're completely leaving this world behind and you're becoming anew. And like, but you like, it all revolves around the same Gnostic principles of like Jesus is actually the bad guy and you're actually just supposed to have free will. Like you're supposed to be like the snake in the garden. Like that's what he was trying to do. He was
He's
trying
the
to
good
teach.
guy.
Exactly. And it's like, no. I need the whipping rod in my life. I need it. I need the discipline, you know?
Yeah.
Because if not, like every human being without the discipline of Christ and without actually like putting yourself in a stoic position of life, you're just going to ruin yourself.
Yeah.
Like most people, at least me.
I think if I didn't have the beginnings of like eating donuts from the dumpster behind Dunkin' Donuts, you know, that kind of a deal, like I might have fallen for my own shit. You know, imagine being like, you know, you have this castle that's like associated with your bloodline. Imagine being some duke in a fucking castle who probably has alchemists in his employ. And when you start to wrestle with this idea that you could understand, that despite your limited amount of time on this earthly realm, you could understand, despite that the Bible says to lean not on your own understanding, like you could crack this code. Like I had that reality check constantly of like, you're kind of a fucking dummy, dude. Like you dropped out of high school, you fucking, you know, you were homeless for a grip. Like you're not that smart. But if you're royalty, dude, and you're in a castle and there's fucking peasants outside the castle walls dying of the plague, and you're sitting here tinkering with alchemists and grimoires, and you know, like you might actually believe that you can, and that's what leads to like that kind of madness. Like thank God that he made me from humble beginnings, because I think my ego could have gotten the best of me had it not been made so obvious real early on. Like, no, dude, you're no better. You're kind of a fucking dummy.
Sure,
You're kind of a dummy.
Well, I think you guys you're talking about one of the hardest things for men to do. Something that's like hard for me to do, was hard for me to do, but it's like it's just the idea of submission. And you know, I guess where we all grew up, if you submit to,
oh, you're a bitch, bro.
not a bitch, but that's like that could be real dangerous for you. You know?
Yeah.
If you allow somebody to do something around you that you weren't paying attention to because you submitted and you were kind of easy about it, it's like that. My guard's always up. We're here in the villages, but I'm always kind of like, what the fuck? You know, who's that?
Watch that boomer.
Yeah. But when we're talking about spiritual submission, like your guard's always up. You're doing drugs to get into another realm because you're trying to get something that is falling through your fingers. But in order to get that thing, you need to submit, but you need to submit to the right stuff, to the right thing. And it is hard to do, but it's kind of like, I don't know. I don't want to compare us to dogs, but like you got a dog that's acting wild. When you have that dog come into complete submission, that dog is now at peace.
Yeah.
Because he's like, he submitted to me and I'm going to take care of him. Like, you know, you're going to get a meal. You know, I'm going to protect you. You're going to have a place to stay.
You know, like, I'm leading.
I am leading. Yeah.
Good point.
And I'm me. Like, but we're submitting to God. So this is like a much higher level. But think about how much infinitely better that dog's life is now that he's given up on his own bullshit, whatever's going through his head, that he's got to protect this. I got to do this. I got to be protective of this food and bite this. It's like, nah. My master's got it.
No, dude, you're absolutely right.
Like, I'm good.
That's money.
And they're right on you and they're following you. It's like, yeah, that, but I'm not ashamed to say that, like that, but with God, it was like, all right,
hell
fine.
yeah, dog, because that's what's alleviated that impossible anxiety that I experienced as a young man, like all that shit that was going on, all the chaos and, you know, FEMA camps, martial law, World War III, fucking all this stuff. Like, I don't give a shit. It's not that I don't give a shit. I literally make fun of it. How could you ever be in a position to make fun of those horrifying things? Because God's got me. God's in control. God already won. Like the checkmate already happened 2,000 years ago. Like shut the books. It's over. Now we're just watching the shit play out. So like, yeah, dog, I get it. Like,
But I think that's a 9-year thing between you praying to God, which is like what a crazy move too, right? It's like you could have very easily been like, hey, I'll pray at home. Like,
Yeah.
I'll do it
Yeah,
later, or
yeah,
like, I don't
yeah.
know, this is a little weird, but like you did that. That's a step of bravery that I think the world today tries to tell you, like, oh, what are you praying to God? What are you reading the Bible? What are you like going to, you're a Christian, you're weak. It's like, no, that's the hardest thing to do.
That's the
You're weak.
strength. Yeah, that's the
That's the
strength.
strength.
That's the power. That's the power.
Exactly. I've let everything down. I've let everything go, and it's like, okay, what now? Like how me and David end up doing anything, even with this show, it's pretty much every single time been like, yo, if you want us to move through that door, open it. If you don't, close that door. I do nothing.
Yeah.
We sit here, we wait. We're patient.
whatever God wants me to do, that's what I'm doing.
And then sometimes God will be like over there, and it'll be like, all right, I'll be like, yo, let's move over this way.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Yeah,
we do
facts.
it, and it works out. And it's so easy. It's so easy, but it takes a level
Sure.
of humility, and it takes a level of sincerity. And people don't, I don't know. I get why you don't want to do it. I didn't want to do it for a long time, but if you don't, you're just hitting your head against that wall, and you're a tough guy, but now
For
you're
sure.
fucking bleeding and brain damage.
Now
Yeah.
you're retarded. Now you
Yeah.
scrambled your
And
shit.
also, like, for me personally, like, I was just tired of feeling that void. You know what I mean? It's like, not to sound gross, but it's like that, like, post-nut clarity almost. It's like once you get it, and then you realize you're like, oh shit, that chick's actually kind of fat. Get the fuck away from me. It's like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like, how many times can you keep on doing the same thing over and over and again? And then as soon as you get that, like, little bit of, like, pleasure, and then it's so fleeting. That's what, like, trying to stay away from God is like that fleeting, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get this good feeling, but like I'm gonna be so broken after.
Yeah.
It's like, oh shit, like maybe I should just stick by God. Maybe I should just stick by one woman. Maybe I should just stay away from this. Maybe I should do that. Because in reality, that fleeting moment, that little bit of pleasure is not destroyed by that emptiness and void. You know what I mean? Like after, like, if you just sleep with a random chick or whatever, and then like
Still there.
you're like, fuck, dude, like that girl's in my bed right now. Like I want her out. Like, what did I do? Like, yeah, like I'm gonna go to the kitchen. Like, hopefully, I got work tomorrow. Like, it's like I don't want to have to do that. Like, I want to be like, oh, I just had sex with my wife, and I can go lay down with her and hold her. Like,
Yeah.
it's such a better feeling. But like when you're in the, like, rat race of, like, thinking like, yo, I gotta be this guy, like this, this stud, like I gotta go out there and get all these chicks, and I gotta have the nicest things, and I gotta do this, and I gotta do that. It's like, do you really need that though? Like, and that's what I feel like these, like, elitist people, like, it's never enough from them. It's never enough for them. Like, Jared Kushner could, like, fuck every girl in the world, but like he has to go fuck kids because it's like it's not enough. It's like
Never enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
like they keep on searching for more. Like, how much filthier can I get? Like, where's more mud I could throw myself in so God can't cleanse me? Like that's what they're constantly looking for. Like, and that's what, like, a lot of dudes that, like, end up, like, with porn addictions and stuff. It's like you start one place and then you end up at a whole other place. It's like
Now you're
and then
watching these
like,
midgets shit on each other.
bro, you're like into like some real crazy dirty shit, and it's like,
Yeah.
because that void, man, because that void, you have to find a
It
way to
eats and
fill
it
it.
eats and it eats. Yeah. And you can't fill it. You can't fill it because it's a void only God can fill.
And I think the crazy, again,
Amen.
this is like, we go from, like, this show fluctuates wildly from like real racist shit to like what I'm about to say. But it's like, no matter how dark it gets, it's amazing because I've seen it over and over. Like those people, I watch them and I try to study them, and I'm like, yeah, it's evident that they think that they're beyond redemption. And as a matter of fact, they continue to try to go further, so that way they are beyond redemption. So that way they can continue to just delve deeper into darkness. But even so, I'm like, you're still not, dude. You're still. That's how crazy it is. Like, you think that you are completely irredeemable, and you're not. And I don't like to admit that. Like, some of these things these people have done has been horrific, but it's like you're still not. There's still a sacrifice that was like way bigger.
Yeah.
That was made. That all you got to do is just ask for it, and you don't have to read, Crowley's book. You don't got to fucking paint anything on your wall. You don't got to put anything around your neck. You don't got to do none of that shit. It's really easy.
You just gotta submit.
Well, that part is hard to do it sincerely.
Yeah.
But you didn't submit at first either. You just like, you were like, yo, I need help.
But that's it. Like,
David,
God will
same
meet
thing.
you where
David-
you're at.
You had no idea.
Yeah.
There's a demon breathing down your neck. Your kid's seeing it, and he's just like, yo, I don't know what to say or what to do. I just need help. I need this to stop now, and I actually mean it. And God
Well-
was like, all right, stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Help
Right.
you a little bit, point you
Yeah.
in the right direction. What are you gonna do now?
And what
You
does
keep
what does Israel mean?
Mm.
To wrestle with God.
Yeah. It's kind of a banger when you think
And
about
that's
it.
exactly every time we talk about Israel. Every time it's brought up, it's like I feel like I'm wrestling with God.
Yeah.
And I was wrestling with God before about
It's so funny because
Like-
if you think about the Israel thing, you're gonna wrestle with God.
before one of my big holdups
Yup.
with the Old Testament was I was like, man, God, you just sent them in. You said the goats, the children, the woman. I'm like I can't. That's a genocide.
Well, he definitely killed more than one woman. But
And then God's like, well, read this part. And then now I'm reading, Genesis 3:15 about the seed word. You're reading about Genesis 6, opening that up into the book of Enoch, and you're seeing like, oh, wait a second. These entities that you're saying wipe that out. There's a reason. There's a reason for this. Like a flood
They
for
were tainted.
humanity.
Yeah, they were
Yeah,
tainted.
there's a bloodline that's tainted
it's
in
a
it.
serpent seed.
There's a serpent
Yeah.
seed, and it's like that's an extreme measure. So it's like, all right, thanks for revealing that to me. But so I'm waiting for that kind of revelation with Israel because it's still like you think you got to figure it out. You're like, yeah, fuck these guys. I know what they're doing. We got to do something about that, right? Hitler bros, and we're like, wait a second, Hitler's an occultist. That's not quite right.
Yeah.
We got to go
Yeah.
back and we got to like
The Hitler shit, though, when you see the rise of the Hitler shit, you're like, oh, something is going on here. Like, this is kind of like low IQ shit that the masses are just kind of being, pushed in one way or the other. And it's like, stuff means Hitler's base. And it's like, no, not really,
I don't know,
actually.
he's giving speeches from the seat of Satan. So
He's
that's
fucking
not.
doing pervitin.
Hitler was a Rothschild.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
I think he was also gay.
Yeah. So
I wanted to
don't
ask you
align with
something,
that.
Anthony, because we're coming to the end of the show here, and I wanted to pick your brains
But
on
would you
something.
come back on? First
Yeah,
Oh
would you actually
fuck
come
yeah,
back
bro!
on?
Of course,
Hell
anytime.
yeah! All right, good.
This
We're
is
gonna
fun.
do
This is I enjoyed this conversation.
yeah, Anthony's a good fit for this show. So this idea of where I'm at with my walk, I find myself a little not vexed, but something that I didn't anticipate is the way that I'm perceived by other Christians. And you have a very similar background to me, and I just wonder, how has that experience been for you? Because there is this sort of modern churchgoer who maybe isn't as gritty, maybe doesn't even have the information. And then on the other side of that, there's also a person that is like a conspiracy bro. So when you go like, I'm a Christian, they go, oh, you don't know shit, or you gave in,
You're
or
in the hive mind.
you're in the
Yeah,
hive mind or
yeah,
whatever. And it's like,
yeah.
it's a weird thing because you're in between two people, or at least this is my experience. I don't want to speak for yours. 501c3 goers, they don't really find me all that attractive. And conspiracy bros think that I don't know shit if I say that I'm Christian. So how has that been for you?
I deal with the same thing, like there's a lot of people that just don't understand like what the Bible actually is. They think it's a book of control, but it's actually a book of freedom. It's a quantum book, it's alive. There's power, there's energy in it, right? It's the sword of the spirit, it's our weapon. And I think that if like these guys that are tainted by conspiracies, because it's like, yeah, I went down the same rabbit holes as you guys. Like I did all the same things, but guess what? I've had actual physical, spiritual experiences to show me that I was wrong. Like you're wrong, like, yeah, maybe you could say that the picture that we have of Jesus Christ is Caesar Borgia's son or whatever. Sure. That doesn't change about the blood that was spilled. Doesn't change the fact of what happened. It doesn't change the fact that he gave us salvation and freed us. You can have anything that you want. It's like black Israelites. Oh, he's black, he's white, it doesn't matter. It's the spiritual understanding of what he is and what he's done for us. And you can have any rabbit hole that you want to go down. Two things that you're going to learn, right? Is Jesus Christ is real and they hate him. That's what you will find out.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
So don't matter what kind of conspiracy theorist you are, that if you are really going down the right rabbit holes, that's what you will find out. And then to the other point of these people that are like Bible thumpers, that are these Christian Zionists, I pray for them, man. I pray for them because their discernment is so lacking. They are Old Testament Christians. They don't understand the new covenant. They don't understand when Jesus Christ said, old wine cannot go into a new wineskin. Okay? There's so many interpretations that God gave us about this new covenant, about the old covenant being null and void, about it being done, about it being finished, him being the lamb, the sacrifice. And these people are so lost in this Schofield, John Darby-esque energy of what the Bible is that they don't even understand what it really is, you know? And I pray for those people. Am I flustered or bothered by either of those type of people? Not at all, man. Because I know that God is on my side. I know that we're the badass motherfuckers in this shit, dude. And that God is working with us, you know? People like all three of us, we're on the right path. Everybody else is misguided and misdirected. We're walking the crooked path that God is making straight for us, you know?
Amen, dude. Well, look, I want to ask you, we typically ask our guests one final question in closing, and we've kind of been forgetting to do it, but I'm really interested to hear this answer. So in everything that you're doing, it's been a weird journey. You talked about the fear in the beginning and the hopelessness and the drug addiction, and now we're in this new place where all of a sudden these ideas aren't so taboo to talk about, and after 22 different social media accounts that have been fucking banned and everything else, are you having fun?
I'm always having fun, man. I'm having more fun than I've ever had in my life, to be honest with you, bro. I'm enjoying the ride, you know? Because like you said before, it's like, why have fear when you already know it's finished? There's no reason to be afraid. There's no, you know, what's the worst that could happen? I die, you know? Oh, well, we're all going to die.
That's going to happen anyway.
Every day is the end times. Every day is
the end times, dog. Yeah. What was that thing we used to, end of days extremists? I think that's where I find myself nowadays. And we're not really that extreme, right? In comparison to the characters of the Bible, those are real ass dudes. But every time somebody turns to us to say like, oh, you said or something, you're a Christian. It's like, yeah, dude. And you're a
exactly
because
pussy.
It's every day is the end of days, and we're end of days extremists. Listen,
but that's not a curse. That's a you know, criticism.
It's a
constructive
diagnosis.
criticism. Yeah,
I'm helping you, bro. I'm helping you,
bro.
Stop being a.
I pray that you find that Jesus Christ is the way, the truth, and the life, and that you submit to him, and that all your days from then on are blessed.
And way less gay.
Also that to Israel. Stop fucking accelerating prophecy. All right, so before we get out of here, Anthony, let's remind everybody where they can find your work.
So it's Anthony_Graffeo, Graffeo 777 on Instagram. It's Graffinati19 on X. And if you want to support my business, it's Ungovernable Project. We make some beef tallow. I'll send you guys some if you want to try it out.
Oh, that's sick. Yo, dude, why the 777 thing?
For God, man. Perfection.
Okay. All right. I respect it.
Perfection of the Bible. Yeah, we sell some incredible beef tallow. We make it all handmade. We have skincare, sunblock. We're doing a 15% off sale right now on sunblock and cooking tallow.
Hell yeah, dog.
Shoot me guys your address. I'll send you guys some deodorants. We got it all. So I really appreciate it. Yo, you guys are my brothers now in Christ. Like, let's fucking rock
we got to
this
run
out,
this
man.
back, dude.
Anytime
we'll
you want.
soon. Oh, actually, that reminds me. We'll talk to you about Brohemian Grove. I think he would fucking dig it. I would love to have Anthony there.
Let's do it.
We'll talk off
Hell
stage.
yeah.
Stick around.
Yeah,
All
for
right,
sure.
guys. Great episode. Until next time, don't forget to obey, submit, and comply. We'll see you later.
They bred with daughters of men.